Hi.
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing,
Hi.
Kausar?
Good. I'm good. How
Welcome.
are you, Sweet? Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome to the ninth pillar, bioarchitecture and biourbanism. We are here in the program 4 or 13 pillar society for peace. Yes, there you are. Ah, good. Hi, Kausar. And it's always a pleasure to have
Yes.
you here today.
Thank you.
So,
After all this week, I got used to see you this every week. I don't know what we're gonna do after all that. Actually, I'm so excited for today's episode and
yes,
bioagriculture and biourbanism.
yes,
Actually, this title bring life to what we ever have talking already before. So if we really wanted to survive what we have said and the last pillars up to 8, we really need to live in this kind of environment that we're going to talk about it this week.
exactly,
And
exactly.
and we have done lately, especially after the last couple years. I can see by the 5 years past, it was kind of blooming all over the place. You see a lot of people changing their way of looking at the architectures, and we realized the concrete materials and all this stuff, it become more eco-friendly, and we start looking more for the environment and the health out of it. There's a lot
Yes.
to share today with you, and we have a great guest as well. She's a beautiful young architect. She's gonna be with us today as well to talk to us about her expertise on that field. And I really always talk about the new generation. I
Yes, that's
really
true.
hope this new generation is gonna do the shift, and they're the shift already. So looking forward to see all that with our new, graduate thinking with a bio in every single thing. It's not only in biourban. We see even in university these days, we see a new major. So on these major, most of them are bio. You see, we used to see biochemistry, biophilosophy, da da da. Da. But now this kind of biourbanism, it covers a lot of materials, and it brings reality more to humanity and environment and holistic, the way that we really think about it. And I'm so happy to see the people thinking like that, and we become really broad, way more than when we were before, in a couple years before. When I used to talk about this 10 years before, they were thinking like I'm in my la la land. And now when I
Exactly.
see all these pictures and I see this creativities with the people's mind and how much we can create, I was like, oh my God, this become reality. So, and we're gonna see this together, and I'm sure you're gonna
Yes.
love it.
Yes. And right now it's something like it is not a trend. It's like a bioarchitecture and biourbanism. It's becoming our life, our daily life. So, and what I would like to ask you, if you would like to begin with this long video, the TED talks that you were talking about, or you would
Well, the
like to
video,
introduce?
the video summarize all the information. If you wanted to start with the chart, we can. If you want me to say something in brief about this, I can. Actually,
Yes.
this biourbanism, when I was searching this titles, I find so many agriculture societies promoting this, and especially in Singapore. Oh my gosh, we get so many beautiful pictures in Singapore from beautiful cities and new cities where everything is green, 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 green. And I remember
Yes.
with one of my research before, when Google started, they used to say, "Oh, you're so lucky you work for Google, you work for this and
Yes.
that." They had started with this to create this beautiful environment at work, because most of the time we're between four walls and concrete walls, and we don't see any greens. We don't see the sun even. I used to work in a hospital, and a radiology department always in a basement. So there's
Oh
not
my
even a
gosh.
window there. So I used to spend the time between the walls and no wall and no light at all, except the LED light and all that. I used to walk outside during my lunch break just to see the sun and to sit a little bit in the sun. And over the winters, the day are too short, so you don't even enjoy the light. Nowadays, when we think about that, and we see that we really, I have seen some studies as well. They say more than 30% of your health life, and especially stress and other symptoms as well, can be released just by sitting under a tree or enjoying nature, enjoying sunlight. And we realize as well too, most people have a high percentage of deficiency of vitamin D. Nobody sit in the sun anymore as before. So trying to create
Yes.
this kind of environment for a healthier human being and attach each other back to nature and have the real value of our nature, creating streams and creating beautiful greens around the neighborhood. And you see all this design, it really brings joy to your heart. And this is what we're really trying to emphasize here, having a nice agriculture with the facilities that we were talking about all that time.
Yes. Oh,
I
good.
have I
So,
have one. Yeah, I had a young lady before we even have the cellular phone and all this social media. I attended seminars in one of the ARE and Edgar Casey's foundation in Virginia Beach. She came and she was so young. She said she's working on one of the project, and she was telling us more about her project. Blah blah blah. To make the story short, she had an accident and she
mm,
went in a coma.
mm,
And she wasn't thinking. She didn't know that she was in a coma. She was in 2 months in a coma. So when she wakes up, she wrote story of what she had think about all this 2 months. And she
oh my
created
goodness.
this story is like 10 years ago. She created what we are now doing. She created platform for a neighborhood where everybody's helping each other, living in beautiful environments, cooking together and eating together, socializing together. She said, "Oh, the people where I was, it's not the people like I see now."
Oh,
So
yeah.
when I see this thing, I was like, "This girl, I always think about her. I don't know where she brought this information from,
And you have to
but I'm
share
sure."
this information. Yes.
But
Yes.
over the time, she brought this thought with her back to life, and now she's one of the greatest, people who talk about the her expertise and her experience on that. So
Do you remember her
we
name? And
always learn, even in our hard time, we're learning something. God's,
yeah.
I mean, have something for us to learn.
Yes, I know. And today we're gonna learn a lot of bioarchitecture and biourbanism. And do you want me to invite your friend, your architecture friend? So let's do that, and
Yeah,
let's see
yes,
the
welcome,
presentation.
Sarah.
So we talk a little. I'm gonna let you, both of you, talk about a little more about the presentation that we're gonna have. And now she's here. Hi,
Hello,
Oh,
everyone.
hi,
Sarah,
welcome,
how are you
Sarah.
doing?
Lovely
Hi,
to see you.
Love to
great.
see you too. Oh, that's great that you're here. And I know that you
Well,
want to share.
Sarah,
Yes, thank you for being here,
Sarah took
Sarah.
took the course with us when Naomi was in Lebanon, and she know Naomi as well too. And she this is her last year. She's graduating, and it was her thesis to work on the feng shui and all this beautiful project. So
Oh,
I
Yes,
know how much you
nice.
love that.
Oh, that's
She will tell
great.
us more about it.
Yes. So what I would like you to do is, like, I'm going to be sharing some of the exactly what is bioarchitecture and what is biourbanism. So you give us or input or ideas, your ideas and everything. And so we will learn a lot from both of you. And I'm going to
Wonderful.
begin
Right.
sharing the information. And after this presentation of bioarchitecture and biourbanism, we're going to have all the presentation for feng shui that you have.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Okay, there you are. So perfect. So bioarchitecture and biourbanism, are you checking all of this? Yes.
Yes,
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 we
yes,
can
yes.
see it.
Okay. So the design and bioarchitecture is the design and construction of buildings in an ecological friendly manner. Design and construction of buildings reflect structures found in nature. I was amazed of this, and
Um,
for me, it
you
is.
know, in old days they used to do the same structure of this dome on the they do public bath, and then when I saw this, I was thinking about that. They used to make it the glass to heat the water without electricity. And if you visit us later on in Lebanon, you guys, whatever who's listening to us today, you're gonna see that it's still present until our time now. I know there's no more open to the public. It's just like a museum for some people to come and see the old generation how they used to live and used all this kind of thing. We're gonna talk about this over the slide and how we get to learn. We talk about that as well too with high tech, low tech. When we talk about the petals, and we see how the old days combined with the new days with the new technology to implement it for a better life style for the people. Look at this
Yes, and
beautiful structure.
yes, this is also a beautiful structure, and I found what biourbanism is like. It says that focuses in on urban organism. This is considered like the urban developments as an organism, a living organism, isn't it?
Yes.
What are your ideas about this?
I mean, structuring different shapes. And if you remember when we were talking about secret geometric shapes, the shapes have energy. And you see the picture here are rounded neighborhoods. So all the neighborhood are connected together in a circle, and this bring the unity more into every single neighborhood. And then the green around each one, it's beautiful. They can bring more peace to that. We're gonna learn about the color. We're gonna learn about the shapes and how we can implant this into the urbanist community and see the reflection of and behavior of the people, of the citizen. You wouldn't imagine the result is. Just imagine yourself living there. I mean, and one of
Yes,
these houses are yours. you don't you don't want to
yes.
think much about that. I'm sure that I can be your neighbor there.
Yes, it's beautiful, and we have some comments regarding this. I have it from Ceci that she says like, "Hello, Giovanna, Kausar, and Sarah. Thanks for bringing this topic to this set of pillars. Thanks a million." And this is a
Oh,
very great topic because it's like it's like finishing and kind of compiling all of the other ideas that we had from the previous 8 pillars that we have been talking about. And Ida from Lebanon too says, "Hi everyone," and
hi
hi
everyone.
Ida.
Hi, Ida.
So she's listening.
Hey.
She's watching us. Hi, how are you doing? So good. Okay, this is very new for me. It's like I have been living most of my life in South America, in Bolivia, and there we had several plans for urban developments, but not as these ones, of course. And also, when I came here to United States to Houston, I have seen so many urban developments, but everything is flat for me here. Everything is flat, and seeing all this beauty and mix with nature definitely inspires me.
Well,
Okay.
you see
Yes.
this some kind of pictures like that. We see when we see them, we know it's a new development area. So what's happening now? The population rising 1 point something percent every year. So they're talking about millions of people over the couple years, and it's gonna be too crowded for us to live in one area. So they're trying to start a new development in different area where there's no, people living there yet. So, we know that we have so many lands, free lands still. So they're trying to create this kind of new city, new village in some places, and let people just migrate into it. And this is really beautiful because in the main city, and if we're trying to look at the municipality and what they're trying to structure, it's so, I mean, too crowded to create such a green environment between all these concrete walls. So they're trying to take the all the big companies out of the cities, especially in DC and Washington. You know, when we used to live there, they took everything to toward Dallas Airport and toward Richmond, and they created more free space in DC. But until it's still, yeah, I mean, so crowded. I mean, you drive 15 minutes, you take you sometimes over 2 hours just to drive there because it's a lot of traffic. So they're trying to
Yes.
cut all that by having more the trains and more, different transportation and all that. Still too crowded. So creating this new environment in a new city and urban city, and it's going to be way more achievable for everybody to live in a happier life.
Yes,
So
and
looking forward to that.
and I like this one, this slide, because kind of it showed me this biourbanism to life sciences, linking
Oh,
these with life sciences, and to integrate all the science and thermodynamics and operations and ecology. You know, seeing this urban development growing as a green organism, it is
wow.
definitely something. Okay, the trends
Yes,
for
it's more natural for people to grow this way and
yes,
societies.
exactly, and that's why we're talking about these trends in bioarchitecture and biourbanism. And they had a biotopographic, bioclimatic. I don't know. Would you read it, please? Because sometimes my English is not as well as good. Can you?
Biotopographic, it's all right.
Yes, bioclim.
You can read it.
Biotopographic, bioclimatic, micromorphism, biomimicry, bionic, archibiotech, green architecture, parametric, smart buildings, smart cities, bioconstructions.
Yes, and those
Now
are the
we will talk
trends.
about each one
Yes, yes. We're going
in
to
next slides.
begin passing some slides, and then biotopographic architecture. I don't know what this, but this is the
Yes,
man-made
Man-made
structure.
structure, mimic.
Yes, mimic the contours of topographic maps, which are almost sculpted. Yes, in the land, and that is what happens with this. And I'm amazed of this picture. Actually, look at this. So it's kind of
yes,
blending with the
you can feel
environment.
how much integrated the building is in, yeah, usually the building is integrated within the ground, so it's completely natural, including sunlight and heating, and it, of course, keeps the vegetation around it.
Yeah,
So this is very important for the environment and the vegetation.
yes, beautiful. And then bioclimatic architecture consists of the design of buildings considering climatic conditions, taking advantage of available resources like sand, vegetation, rain, wind.
Yes, it's the natural flow of the energy of the sun and the light, of course, and also the wind. So even if it's covered by the soil, but still the sun can enter. And of course, we need the sun just like the plants. And
Oh,
Oh,
the
there you are
disconnection.
again.
You are.
Yes,
All right.
you're fine. Yes, and there's one question here. Like Cecilia says, like, why does bio appear before other words?
Yes.
So
Bio
Actually, I was
is
going to answer that.
it means it's natural. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it
I
kind
mean,
of shows us.
when you do biochemistry or bioenergy or I mean anything bio before, it's mean alive. So the
Exactly.
thing, so biochemistry is when you go into the field and do the lab in the spot, because when you take the plants to the lab, already have been out of the ground for a bit. It might even lose some of the minerals and the enzymes in it died. So if you take it to the lab and test it, it's not going to be the same if you do it right there on the spot as soon as you take it out. So that's what they mean by bio. It's everything is still alive and you testing it and you working it as it's still alive.
Yes, and I love this one because you see that those stairs and they look the
Yeah.
same as the other picture on
Remind
the
you of
left
that.
side. So biomimicry, it is based on the form of nature. For example, the Nautilus, and I love.
I was searching for some information for today's workshop, for today's presentation, and I was reading about this as well a little bit. And you wouldn't imagine when I went off the track, I was like, oh my gosh, I was in my whole land. And this kind of thing really bring you a lot of energy without even noticing. I really been just by searching and learning about it. I felt the energy of it already inside of me, and I guess Sarah will complement this information about it. It's an amazing thing, really.
definitely. Yes, biomimicry is taking the shape of the plants and building upon it. So it's as if you are living in the plant and you are taking the energy of the plant and the natural way, the natural flow of it. So this is one example, but we have plenty of examples about it. It includes buildings. It can be formed in a shape of a butterfly or a bird. It's um, it's very creative.
Beautiful. And
Yes.
it's like as you said, it's kind of a living a little of that, and having all that information that plants and all living beings, all creation have. It
Yes,
has for all of us. Like a downloading packet of information to us. So that's what I feel
Yes.
with
Yes.
this biomimicry. Yes. Okay. So
True.
this
yeah,
is biomimicry too, and then it comes from bio, which means life. That's what you were saying, isn't it?
Yes.
That nature,
Imitating life.
yes, imitates and finds solutions to problems that has effectively solved after millions of years of evolution. Yes, and these are some of the pictures that we're gonna see later on, and these are from architect Vincent Calibo, in which is in French architecture, and has been it's yeah, I'm thinking that he is the one that shows us all these beautiful architecture that biomimicry has. So these also some
wow,
their towers.
wow.
Yeah. These are from Singapore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and this same, and they are too little, but we're gonna be sharing with these. And these are
Mhm.
studies that, as you were mentioning, that studies the structure and material of nature. And for example, the wings of the dragonfly, or the leaves of the water lily, in
Mhm.
creating these beautiful structures. And I like this archibiotech word. How about that, Gosar?
Archibiotech word that combine the prefix of the word architect and biotechnology. So we're combining the two. Biotechnology, we realize everything has to go green now, and then it combined the structure with the high tech, with the low tech, as we were mentioning earlier. And look at it; it's right in the front of a beautiful island. It looks like. And imagine that you live half of the building in the water and the other part upside. It's like a small island, and it can fit up to maybe 5,000 people just like that. So we do have a lot of creativities in mind where I mean we can use even the water, the ocean, or the beach to create more cities that we can survive and appreciate our life, that we can live together without
Yes.
people fight for a small land now. So we don't have to think like that. We just have to compromise and realize that there's so many architects there trying to make our life easier.
Yes,
like
Yeah.
like
yes,
Sarah. Thank you, Sarah,
yes. And
for being
actually,
part of that.
here
Of
it's
course.
talking about the architect that this Belgian ecological architect Vincent Calvo, and he's the designer of these all of these
Wow.
futuristic style eco district projects that take into account all different aspects of.
Yes.
I'm thinking that it's sustainability, isn't it?
Yes, yes. I mean, we talked about this before when even sometimes you see that design like that, you wouldn't even think what it is, and then
Yes,
you realize when you enter, it's a hospital, or it's a different type of something that we didn't get used in our daily life now. The same structure house, everybody has a bedroom, a living room and a bathroom. And the new structure, it can bring you out of all this experience into a really modern life where you can fit all the history in one thing. And this is really amazing.
yes, it's incredible. And how about this parametric architecture? Would you like to share something about Elbana?
Maybe I can
Sarah?
leave this for Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about designing in a special way that it's very uh, connected with nature. So you
Uh-huh.
can just flow the same rules that has that that are found in nature. You can bring them to architecture, and if, for example, like we already have seen the pattern, the petals. So the
This looked like
architecture
a
can be,
vortex to me. The vortex?
yeah,
It looks like a vortex. The flow of the energy flow of the magnetic field. It looks very much
Yes.
like that. And then
Yes, it looks like
they
that.
do use the same policy of the that we use, that like what Sarah was saying. They use the same policy of gravity in forming this. When we used to go into some places, huge room for certain parties or certain wedding and stuff, you realize there is so many pillars inside the rooms because they didn't know how to make this kind of roof and ceiling that can be holding all that, especially the bridge now. You cross the bridge like I don't know how many kilometers, sometimes so long between islands, and you see the bridge holding still without anything to carry it on. And this is all really a big thanks to the architecture, who really trying to create all this gravity pulling these things together without even something to hold on into it, like it's falling into this into the air.
Yes, really. And Karina, she's asking something here. Hi, Karina.
Hi, Karina.
Yes. She says that regards the biourbanism, where are ecosystemic sustainability and urban development integrated?
Yeah, yes, we're gonna see this in the next picture, Karina. Just
Yes.
hold on, stay with us. Okay.
Yes. Let's go. So, yes, there you are. Green architecture is what we were talking about, Karina.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
Yes, there you are.
Oh gosh.
That's the perfect answer without saying anything. You
Yeah.
just can watch the picture. Green architecture is a sustainable architecture projects and buildings considering variables of environmental impact. It's part of a broader green philosophy which attempts to minimize the impact of human activity on our planet. I haven't
You
seen any one of these ones, but they look
we
very.
have a couple of them now here in Lebanon with the new artists. They had not a huge area, just a small community with the family members. But what they did, you can see the roof top. The rooftop is glass as well too. And what they're trying to do there is using the water that they water the grass to be recycled again with the community and filter all the the water that we used to water the plants. So it's all sustainable. And
Oh,
I mean, for a project like that, I'm sure that it needs a lot more work than the one that I have seen. But it's all recycling and sustainability kind of project, and this is what we're really aiming to do for the future because we really need to reuse everything, and we don't want to keep all this material that we're using to reconstruct these things. It's the raw material that we talked about here. um, it's we're running out of most of the stuff and it's getting so expensive, so we really need to use whatever we have in each area and try to create something out of it.
yeah,
So we
that's
should
great.
see different design in every area and different countries. It's not going to look very much the same because their raw materials, what they have in there, from wood to concrete to all that, it's different in different countries.
Yes, definitely. I like. I would like to see more of these ones.
Yes,
That
definitely.
would be
Yeah.
great. So
Yes.
smart buildings are a kind of buildings with reasonable investment, efficient energy management, and comfortable and convenient environment. So smart
Yes,
buildings.
basically it's about saving energy in all of the ways. You making use of the sunlight as best as we can, and making use of the natural air conditioning. You see, in the past, our ancestors used to build buildings without needing an AC for to cool the air. It was actually the way they construct the building. It would be very cool, especially if you go to old churches. They are so high and they have thick walls, and that preserves the energy inside, so they don't have to warm it so often. And during the summer, it's very cool. And this is
Oh,
what is meant by using efficient energy.
yes, that's right. That's right. And let's go back to our ancestors as well, isn't it? For our buildings
Yes.
and constructions.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Wow.
smart cities, eco edu smart cities.
Smart cities, yes. Um,
Those are beautiful.
I don't know. Maybe it's gonna take us another 20 years to see all that.
Yes.
But I know the American University of Beirut here in Lebanon, and some of the other university as well already started doing the vertical plants in their um, in their roof top, and my daughter actually helped them out with that, and it's phenomenal. And they're trying to create all this kind of thing as well all over the place. I know with Sarah we have done some work as well with the different organization trying to teach people how to grow things vertically. It's a new things for us. We're trying. We've been for the last year doing this, but it's not growing much, to tell you the truth. This thing needs a lot of work and a lot of patience because we left the ground. We left the really we don't know much about this. I mean, we're trying to relearn this. I mean, I remember my grandparents used to grow vegetable and their own vegetables and used to eat, tomatoes and potatoes from my grandmothers. And now I try to do that. I thought this is very easy. It's not easy.
Yes,
But
and
now we think this is organic, and then when we talk about organic, this is what I tell them: the food of my grandparents, it was
uh-huh.
organic.
Yeah.
Our food is not organic anymore, so we're trying to regrow this. Some people just bring in buckets and put it in their balcony, and they grow vegetables. And lately, even in Washington and Virginia, they were trying to grow vegetables in the front yard.
Uh-huh.
Usually people, they don't grow such a thing like that, except, yeah, I mean, in the front yard they do it in the backyard, and they keep the front yard for grass and beautiful scene and beautiful flowers and stuff like that. But lately
Exactly.
they were trying to do that because they realized everything is more expensive, and they wanted to eat more organic stuff, and then they will start realizing our lifespan is decreasing because we're doing all this pollution and the toxic in the environment we created from all that. So we're going back now into trying to learn again
Yeah.
to go green and
And
plant all these.
for Karina, that she asks for any comments about sustainable resource use, responsibility, prevention,
Yes.
and anticipation. Practically, this is what answers your question, Karina. What we're talking about the smart cities, and that this is a very good future for us. And bioconstruction, what you can tell us about that,
um,
Sarah?
yes,
Yes,
you
it's
know
basically using the material of the earth. There are some areas that are rich with soil, other areas that is rich with stones. So using the material that is found in the earth is the best way to construct a building. That's keeping it natural. So we can see here it's they're using the soil and the grass. It's very natural. Yes.
Yes, yes, and I
what
remember
what
that where I come from,
mm,
the
what
buildings are made of these. I don't know how it is called in English, but it's the mud
it's what
blocks,
yes,
adobe. It's called adobe.
yeah,
So my
okay.
house back in Bolivia,
Yeah.
it's made of that. But we're in the city. Even in the city, those houses were made of that.
Well, you see these kind of stick are made of hemp. Hemp
Uh-huh.
is another plant of cannabis, but the hemp they use the hemp to create furniture as well too. And so you can use these kind of tools to put them as a stick instead of the metal stick. They're very heavy duty, and then they used to make the even the car the car frame from that as well too. So they used to put them instead of the metal one they use today. They used to make them from hemp, and they put the mud. They mix the mud together, and they put it. And it was like an installation wall for them, like what was Sarah talking about. I have seen a new building in Egypt next to an old city, an old village next to the dam they had around the time where Abdel Nasser used to had it, and I don't know what year. It's been so long. They bring a new construction company to do the dam, and then they had built a new building for them to stay in that building for over the summer, and it's too hot, too hot. You wouldn't imagine how hot is that. So the people who went there to work on the construction, they couldn't live in a concrete walls because it was too much heat for them. So you know what they have done? You wouldn't imagine. They switched the house with the neighbor, with the people in the city, in the village. They live in a mud house because it was cooling for them, and
Oh
they
no.
give them the concrete house, which is the new house, for them to stay in, so they can tolerate the heat during the time they were working there on the dump. So now we realize that combining all this technology with all this new technology that we have with the old wisdom that we already had from our ancestor, creating this new urbanist life, it's this what we're really trying to aim for.
That's right. That's right. So, what we're going to see is examples of some of these bioarchitecture in the world. And that's what we were talking now. We were seeing some small pictures, but we're going to be seeing the larger picture right now. New architecture in the world here.
Yeah. This is a
And
library in China.
oh, yeah. Oh, that's great.
Mhm.
Yes. I love this one. It's like definitely, I can see this in the future. You can see
Yeah.
this in the futuristic movies, but they are here now. This is the Venus Project for ways of advocates for new ways of thinking and living, enabling humans, and considering progress and sustainability. Jack Fresco.
Venus Project is in Florida. This is in Florida, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be sustainable and green and new lifestyle as well too. So people will just have a room to sleep. They don't have a full house, and they have
Uh-huh.
the main circle in the middle. It's the community where they go work and eat and socialize together, and the one around it they just go sleep there
Mhm.
and have all the facility to have a healthy body. And so it's a different community than our community. So
Yeah.
I read about this project. It's beautiful. You get to learn more about it. It's beautiful.
Yes, and we have some links that we can share with you later on
Absolutely.
with this.
Yes. And it's gonna be all documented in our book.
Yes, we're going to have a book that is going to be the 13 Pillars Society for Peace, and it's going to be written by Kosar and Noemi.
And everybody.
And yes, and all the information that you can see in all these programs for 13 Pillars Society for Peace. So don't miss that book, and also don't miss the next programs, and also everything. Remember that everything is recorded, and everything is going to be in our station 3000.info. So we had a
Yes.
little of advertising over there, but that was good. And this is the architect that we were talking about that creates all of these you're going to see all of these inventions and the floating cities and with the mimicry and all of these innovations. It's Vincent
He's amazing.
Calvo. Yes. So, and look at this lily pad, the floating cities. That's
Wow.
what you were saying, Kausar. Like half of the city up there, and the other half
Yeah.
in
In
the
air,
submerged.
air and water. Yes.
Yes, it's incredible. And this one,
This is another vision from the same structure, from the same project. You see the
yes,
boat and you see all that. This is somewhere else.
yes, and you can see that this actually is a city, isn't it?
Yes. It's a full
Yeah.
city. And this is beautiful.
These are vertical farms, and
New
uh,
York. Wow.
yes, it's mimicking the one wing. It's a
Butterfly.
dragonfly wing. Isn't it? Yes. So it's located in New York. And it's by architect Vince Calabo. And I'm thinking that if we would know all of these as we are giving this information right now, there's so many things to be seen right now, like for the future, that from the
Yes.
future, but here
That's what I'm
already.
saying. I mean,
Yeah.
10 years ago, we were thinking that people think that we live in a la la land when we talk about this new version of lifestyle. We know that we're going to end up here. And then I can tell you from now on, because the population is increasing, I can see in Egypt, you wouldn't imagine what people doing in Egypt. Egypt is a 1,105 million population is really high. So they're trying to create a new living for the for the citizens because it's too crowded there. So they're doing everything from scratch, and they're doing amazing job lately. I was trying to follow up with them, with the train, with the high speed trains, with all these villages, and they're trying to use the new technology with the old ones as well, and combining them and to fit their cultures and their communities. And this is what
Yes.
we really need to do everywhere. It's not only in Egypt,
Yes.
in Lebanon
Yes.
too, right? So,
So these are the this is
inside, this is the
inside.
butterfly.
Yeah, this is
Inside the butterfly.
Yeah.
exactly that's inside. Then the green algae. I was amazed to see this project. Could you mention? Look at these. These are algae farms to depollute the oceans and recycle. I don't know how do you say it, carbon dioxide
Yeah.
Yes.
as energy. So same architect, and this is definitely futuristic. And can you imagine several of these working in our oceans? That would be great. Okay, Asian cairns. Those are farm scrapers, sustainable buildings. And I have seen these ones. They look at like pebbles to me. Those are beautiful. And look at this inside. The idea is that each pebble can be customized to suit a variety of needs like housing, office, space shops, recreation areas. So even the pebbles that we play with, like one on the top of the other, help us to serve us like for
Living.
inspiration,
Yeah,
isn't it?
making things.
Yeah.
Exactly. Look
Okay,
at this.
same here. Farm scrapers, Nautilus. Have you heard about this one?
Hmm.
And this is part of a resort. That's Wooden Orchids Green Shopping Center in China. When I was showing these pictures to my kids and my husband, they said like, okay, what is this movie from? What is the movie?
Yeah. Yeah. It does look like in a movie,
Yes,
sci-fi movie.
exactly. And green
Yeah.
building. Yes. Okay. And this is in coming Flavors Orchard, the Yankee Pool in China as well. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, the architects for parametric architecture, all of the buildings seen before were from architect Calabo, and now we're going to talk about parametric architectures and see some of the work of Zaha Hadid.
Zaha Hadid.
Yes, and Patrick Schumacher, and
Schumacher.
yes, and they have beautiful, beautiful buildings as well. Either Aliyev Center,
Yeah.
and look at
Oh,
this.
I was trying to find Habib. I thought he's from Iraq, the architect.
Yes, and they are beautiful, and they participated in a marathon, and it was an architecture marathon that they have for P3000.
Wow.
And actually, I suggest that if we can find the link, we're going to share it today. But otherwise, you can just click on education3000.info, or you go to our pages on YouTube, education 3000, 4000, 5000 in different languages,
Mhm.
and you have all the information in all these marathons, architecture marathons, and all the information that have these beautiful concepts of the new bioarchitecture and biourbanism. Look, this cultural center, they are totally different, but very interesting in shapes as well.
Yes.
They look more like geometric like the universal geometry that we were talking about, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
More related to math and environment. There you are.
Wow. Space shuttle.
This is in Moscow, smart
Most
cities.
smart cities.
Yes.
Wow.
Listen, this one is in Beijing, and some of them they actually they have all the locations. So if you would like to find
Wow,
out
this is
more of
really
that,
hard.
you just
Wow.
can Google it. Yes. In Masdar City, that's what you were talking about,
Yeah, we talked about this last time.
Sarah.
Yes.
Yes. You know, you were talking about the architecture of Masdar City. Yes. That's in Dubai, isn't
Wow.
it?
Yes.
Okay. So pretty much that is the people. Architecture is not about buildings; it's about people, and that
Yes.
is actually our relation, isn't it?
Yes,
Our
absolutely.
relation to okay.
Yes, this is actually the concept of biophilic architecture. It is
Yes.
about caring for the well-being of a people before the architecture itself.
Yes, I love that one. Okay, look at this.
Oh gosh, these are beautiful.
Everyone in nature,
Yeah.
green architecture and green cities. So
Oh,
I have seen that most of these cities are using these concepts with walls,
green
planting
walls.
walls and everything.
Green walls,
You know,
first of all, they create oxygen, and then
mhm.
and they clean the air, and plus they do a walk like installating process. So it filters the heat before it enters the building.
and
And
and and
there is a new technology, and I couldn't find much about it online, but I have read it and searched it before, and I'm sure that I can search more about it. But the wall, the instead of having wire, you realize there is no wire. You never seen wire on none of the pictures. They're using carbon glass.
uh-huh.
Carbon glass act like the wire and connect the energy to the glass, and then whenever you have left it reflected to the neighbor because the neighbor is across from you, from your window. So we're using the carbon glass to for wire instead of wires for electricity. And then we're trying to search more about the electricity because the frequency that we use for our electricity is really high, and then anybody can touch the electricity can die, we all know that. But we really know from the old studies, and especially from the pyramid, and we realize that it was a source of power, that they use the power from a different frequency. So, and they're trying to learn it now with these kind of project, to tap into this information and see if we can really do the same without doing any harm. So basically, the main rule of that is safety of design for the design, and the active for by design as well, and health by design. So anything that are healthy by design. So we really need to watch the three main thing: the safety and the activities and the healthy um, project for everyone to live around it without any harms.
Yes, and look at these ones too. These are definitely green buildings.
Wow,
As you the ones that you were talking about, the ones that we saw, like the rooftops full of green,
this is in
and
Singapore, I think. No,
yes,
yeah,
look at these ones. And you know,
sunset.
back when I was in Bolivia, and in all times, my grandma and all of them, they were kind of afraid of putting all the plants on the, growing in the structure of the building, because they said that it would damage the building. What do
Mm.
you say about that? Now it's different. The materials are different. I know that there's some different materials now that allow this without
They
interfering with
put
the.
they put insulation. It's very thick plastic. They put insulation under the over the concrete under the plants, and they cut some part of the roots so it wouldn't grow inside the wall and create the issue that we were thinking. If sometimes you have a tree inside in front of your house, and you see it grows and grows, and the roots start growing under the house, and sometimes it interfere with the structure of the house. So
Yes.
it's not like that, because now we're structuring everything based on studies and science, as you were saying. So they do put some kind of filter, not to get the roots to go down into the concrete or into the infrastructure. And then whenever it grows into a certain limit, because
Uh-huh.
the roots cannot go further anywhere. So, and sometimes they do cut some part of the roots so it wouldn't grow that big, like the
That's
mini
good.
plants.
Yes, and look at these ones.
Yes, and
This is
also they use special type of plants that does not damage the building itself.
Oh, okay. That is
yes.
very good to know. Plants that they do not have much of the root. I have seen even those like aerial plants, isn't it? Now they are very trendy. That they do not they barely have roots, and but they have the green, and they can just live with a little water, like just a
Yes.
mist of water. Here, there you are.
Wow, I love that. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I wanted to live there. Yeah.
Yes, it's
All the
beautiful.
screens.
We would like to live in this kind of cities, isn't it? There.
Well, I was telling you about Google's. They say when they give them 1 hour lunch break, not 30 minutes lunch break, it's 1 hour. And they give them 30 minutes to eat and 30 minutes to meditate in a beautiful setting like that. I think we should all work on some kind of environment like that to be
Yes,
healthy. To be healthy.
this is the
Definitely.
forest city in Guangxi,
Wow.
China. Yes. Okay, more ideas. This is the forest school. And we're going to have a link also for forest schools. And then they have this idea that the philosophy of course, that P3000 has, that it's let the kids like lead their own learning, isn't it? But
Yes.
in a forest school environment. So I am amazed of this forest school as well. And this is in Thailand, and the largest urban rooftop farm in Southeast Asia. I can imagine how we can take advantage of all these roofs, but because when you see, especially a city like it is flat here in Houston, when you go to a building, you can see the other buildings in the bottom, but you can see so many rooftops, and they are flat that can be taken advantage of. I cannot imagine. This definitely is a very great idea. And this is a school in Uruguay. It's a primary school built with bioconstruction methods, and the architecture is Michael
You see the
Reynolds.
clay. They use a clay there. You see the clay. It's
Yes.
so popular now as well too. In Egypt, they have a whole huge city of clay.
And yes, and they have solar panels as well. So this school in Uruguay is it's sustainable. And okay, and here is another architect that is from Spain, and this is he actually is a specialist in urbanism, and he created some parks and some constructions, checking the different cosmovision, like stones, like Stonehenge. Look at these. These are a park like from stone circles, and also I love this concept of urban mobiliary. It has the bench, but it has a hole for the tree. The bench
Mm.
has a hole, and so you sit with the tree. This actually
Hugging the
this
trees.
bench is called yes, this bench is called sitting with the tree. Yeah, and these are the rock circles, and of course, Professor Joseph Davidovich
Hmm.
and Arikat. This is a geopolymer material. These are new materials. I'm not familiar with that, but maybe you can tell us something about
It's a limestone. The
lime.
limestone, I think I have some kind of limestone here somewhere. It's not
Mhm.
here actually. I brought it from Egypt. Yeah, I do have one. Oh, it's my limestone.
Oh, great! You gotta, yes,
It,
you got a
it is
pyramid.
it's yellow and it's fine. This is like polished already, but the one that we
Yes.
see in the picture is not polished. But the we went to one of the mountain. It's far from the pyramid in 2000. Sorry, 275 kilometers. It's like 150 miles, you can say, like halfway to Canada from the States. I mean, from where they built the pyramid into the mountain where they cut the stone, it's down the river of the Nile. And I got some picture. I would show you if you want sometimes. When they cut the stones and the huge ones, each one it's like I don't know how many tons. It's huge stones. We see here small pictures. Um, and they carry the stones against the flow of the river, okay, and they cut them. The laser with our technology today, it doesn't do that. So
Oh,
I always stand there asking myself what instrument they use and how much knowledge they do know. I mean, I stand just always guessing. I mean, here and there with all the knowledge that we have and with all this beautiful information that we're giving, we stand amazed of what they already have done, and we don't know. We just look into the shape. We don't know what was used for. People think that it was kind of a burial place for the king or something, but it's not the case. It's not. Absolutely, it's not the case. Now, after learning all this, we realized these were under the water, and the water flow can create energy. And the rooms that they were inside the pyramid, they do have certain structure from different limestones to a different stones as well too. We see different stones inside the pyramid. The room itself is all black stones, and the friction of the water with the stones create the electricity inside, and different frequency it was tapped into the different what you call them, the towels, in different places to connect the energy to each other. So they used to see light at night. They didn't use the torch, they didn't use any of that, and we know
yeah,
for sure it was, but we don't have the way of doing it or the material that they've been using, because we just look at the stone now and we think it's nothing.
that's right. That's right. Great information. So, cities of light, you can grow your cities of light. Okay, thank you. So we're gonna stop sharing this, and so let's continue. We're gonna be talking about some of basic feng shui for. Okay, this is base bioarchitecture, and
Sarah, do you have something to say? You can.
yes, I want to remind you that always that Education 3000 is the program that it's bringing all of these, the 13 Pillar Society for Peace, and beginning by the Seven Petal Schools, it's a worldwide invitation and synergy to co-create together comprehensive education and awareness and care, isn't it? So, and we want a fulfilled and happy human being, constructing our society and taking care of our planet. And these are all the places that we are
All
right
over the
now.
place.
We
All
hope to
over the
spread
place.
this
Yes,
far. Yeah.
yes. So feng shui. We're going to talk a little about feng shui. That it's a Chinese system of laws considered to govern spatial arrangement and orientation in relation to the flow of energy, and whose favorable or unfavorable effects are taken into account when sitting and designing buildings. Would you like to explain us? I know that you are expert in this, Sarah, and I would like to hear you and all the information that you have.
Yes, in short, feng shui is the art of creating a flow of energy within the place that you are living. So, how to direct the energy that allows you to grow in a very prosperous way, and also if there is uh, some energy that you do not want, you can uh, change its direction in the way that you set your environment.
That's
So,
beautiful. And you know,
yeah.
and here it mentions also the Vastu Sastra that I found that are texts on traditional India systems or architecture too. And both of them are used to decor and to organize all these energies inside our buildings, isn't it?
Yes,
So
you know,
Yeah.
from the feng shui, it's a maybe it's a yin and yang as well as she was talking about it, but we can see it in all tradition with different names. I know they in South America they used to live to build their house facing the sun, and then in Egypt very much the same. They live all the people, all the society live in the on the east side of the river and the west and this and the other side of the river it was only for the it was no life in it whatsoever. They used to bury their kings and like they call it Valley of the King. They used to bury all their families and it's like a graveyard, so most the generation thought very much the same in different way though, and they understand very well the flow of energy as well. So feng shui has two different school, and then we're gonna see this in the next couple slide. Maybe I think that we have them there. One of the school work as well with horoscopes, with the signs and the star. Yes, as we see this, we realize that the five more main elements in in our life are mainly fire, um, wood, water, air, and earth. So this main five element always connect to each other somehow, and then creating this circulation. But some people use these element as well with the planets. So when they do use it with the planet, they do study the planet chart, and they do manage the flow on the house every year around certain time. They change the rooms, they change the furniture, they change certain things to keep the flow, so to maintain such a luck in the house and create positivity.
that's beautiful. And you know, I am questioning some things. I do not understand much about feng shui, but now you're explaining that everything is related to energy. So I
Mm,
have this basic feng shui, and they are talking about the chi cuts. I know that chi is energy, yes,
mm,
but
mm.
Yeah.
what are these about? I mean, I can talk to
You
Sarah
can skip
probably or
the
you.
next one and I'll tell you. Just go,
Okay,
what's next?
okay.
This is it. You see, this is if you divide this map on the 360 degree. Okay, you stand at your door and facing the north and hold this diagram. Okay, some people use it with this with the campus, and I do have the campus here. I used to have that diagram here on the
Here is one with compass. Look,
absolutely, yes. This is with the campus, and this is with and you see each color, what represent fame and repetition. Red, fire, middle daughter. I mean, we see each color represents something, and health and well-being right in the middle. So if you
uh-huh.
put this over the top of the map of the blueprint, you can say of your house. Okay, you realize that okay, my kitchen in the wrong place. My bathroom shouldn't be on this corner, and my I shouldn't go to the bathroom and study because this corner for studies. You know what I mean? So, um, and sometimes it happens. You tell the kids to go study, and then he go to the bathroom with the book, and he read a couple times, and he realize he already know the homework, just because the flow there is different, not the
Yes.
smell though. So yeah, just joking about that. So just facing north, okay, from your main door, face north, and put this plan over the map of your the blueprint of your the structure of the house. You're gonna find out where each location is connected to which subject of these ones, and then if you realize that something is not right there, especially with the way that your house is, you're not gonna tear your house down and go live somewhere else, right? So
Yeah.
you will use this color and this sign in a contrary to each other to balance this energy, and we're gonna see this in the next slide.
Okay. Let me put this.
I'll leave it to Sarah.
Okay.
You see, so again, the color, and as well, we can see the color. And painting the house it has something to do with that. Putting some art as well has something to do with feng shui. Using water fountain and using fire element, it always bring something for that. Let's say I have wealth and prosperity, and I end up realizing wealth and prosperity in my kitchen. And exactly in the kitchen, we get the stove and fire. So there's no red there, right? And I need purple. So what should I do there? And with the fire, so I need to bring some other element next to the stove to break this fire into an element. I can even put small plant, or I can put some pictures with the water flow next to it. It can bring that energy down. So
Oh,
it's very simple stuff, and then we're gonna see this on other stuff. Carrier wisdom. So wisdom, whenever you need to create a room for to study, it's better to have your library there, your book there. Sometimes you don't have the blue color, but you have more earthy stuff around it. So we always try to create things around the place that we have. You can have the same diagram that you have put it on the blueprint. You can put it over the small room. So if you go inside the room, just put it there and see. Oh, this corner for marriage, and you already let's put dove next to I mean, and because they represent love, you put two doves there, and you realize the other corner for family, you put the family picture in there. So when you go inside each room, try to adjust each one based on the categories that you create, and then you play the game there. Put some more picture, remove some stuff out, and play with it. And we realize that different people use different technique as well too, between India and Korea and China. There's different, a little bit different technique that they use, but they're all very much the same.
beautiful. And so, what would this mean? I mean, when we're talking about actually the room or the rooms that are you are
Yeah.
in, the so chi cuts. It means that it's related to the flow of energy, isn't it?
Yes.
That's when the energy is blocked.
Okay, okay. So depending on what you're using and how the objects and colors are located in the spaces, isn't it?
Hmm.
Okay. And the square columns, does the form has to do something with the energy flowing as well?
Absolutely. It's stuck in a corner.
Uh-huh. So
Uh,
okay, escaping chi and physical cleaning, and that's what
escaping
you.
sheet, they do bring small mirrors, very much like the size of this. I mean, very, very small. And they
Uh-huh.
do put it at the door to reflect the energy flow. And you see them when you buy the stuff on the Chinatown or some place. You see small glassy. They put them sometimes in on the car, on the mirror of the car to reflect the vision.
Uh-huh.
Very tiny
Yes.
small. They put them at the door to reflect the energy so it wouldn't escape. So
Oh,
if you
that's
realize
interesting.
your house is not facing the north and you need that north energy, you just put a couple ones at the door, and it reflects back the energy of the yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, it's like whenever you see your house and you do it without this all of this planning. Now I'm thinking that if you learn some,
Physical
yes,
cleaning. They don't keep any stuff that they don't use. And I told you they do have certain tradition. If you have a cup and it has some crack in it, or a plate has a crack in it, they say it's a bad vibe in it because it doesn't flow any longer. So they
yes,
threw all the cups and mugs that they do have crack. They don't keep any stuff they don't use in the house. Let's say you have so many dresses and you keep them in the closet for so many years because you think that you're gonna lose weight or you're gonna wear them somewhere else, somewhere, especially now. So these stuff we call them clutter. So you need to get rid of the clutter because it can prevent the flow
of
from
energy.
getting around the house. The dead plant, the plastic plants. Plastic plants are negative energy too in feng shui. They don't like negative energy with the plastic plant. Please, please, please don't use that. Grow your own plant. If it doesn't survive, bring another one and keep trying until you make it right. So
Oh, that's
I know
great to
we're
know.
all
That's good to know. So okay, so let's see
cool.
some of the pictures for decoration, and these are beautiful colors for
Okay,
decorating schools.
why do you think they choose different color in here? You know? Yeah.
Okay,
Now
I'm
I'm
thinking
testing you.
now that we've seen the chart. I'm thinking
Yes.
that I remember this violet that is wealth.
Yes.
Yes.
So if they have the bathroom in the corner where it presents negative energy and they wanted to bring good energy to it, they put this different colors. So if the bathrooms corners on the chart where a lot of water, they make it red to bring more fire to it to balance it. So if they're
Oh,
more here fire, they bring more purple to balance it, or blue.
uh-huh.
So they always work with the color to bring better energy to the place. And you can even use the mirror, you can use the trees because it represents the green as well too. So to reflect the energy flow.
That's good. I love it. I'm learning too much about this.
Sarah, you got to say something. I always talk, I got used to talk all the time. Sarah, I know her. If
Yeah.
I don't give her the space, she wouldn't say anything. Please, please.
Yeah, it's all right.
Would you like to share a little bit more about this, and then we go over to some examples and continue.
Maybe next
Yes, I
time.
think
Yeah.
I think like Kausar said, they are they used for the energy basically, especially in the bathroom because we sometimes we have some leakage of water, and that means drainage of the energy in the house. So it's important that we make sure that all of the water is fixed. We don't leave any leakage from the bathroom.
But that's interesting, and in the toilets and the sinks, all of the places where water is located, you have
Yeah,
to balance it too because it's related to leakage of water, of energy.
yeah, and especially in money wise, when you have a broken water uh, place, you lose some money for in the house or in your personal life. So it is important not to have any leakage anywhere.
That's interesting.
And they do,
Okay,
you realize in a picture too, they do cover the toilet seat. Toilet
Yeah,
yes,
seat because it's a bad energy as well too there. So everything's
okay,
comes out. And so we're rinsing this energy. So it's way better to get used to that actually whenever we use the bathroom to keep the toilet seats closed.
close.
And some people too, they're freak about that. They do even close the sink when after they wash their hands. So none of the bad energy comes back.
Oh, you're
So
talking about the energy that flowing from the
the
tubes and
sewage. Yeah,
yeah,
then the
going
sewage.
so
Yes,
the
yes. The
sewer.
sewage is negative energy. Yes.
Okay. Okay, good to know. So this is school in Mexico. This is Mandala International Academy, and this
Well,
school implements several of these feng shui and vastu shastra um, techniques for decorating all the schools. And then so you will see these kinds of decorations, and
amazing.
yes, in all the small places like caves, like places for climbing, like trees and plants, and of course not overloading, and they need to be fun.
Yes.
So and
That's
then
the only way for children to learn.
yes, exactly. And look, they do their own caves, and they're different. They implement different
Wow.
corners. Look at these. These are climbing places, and also they have corners with places where they just relax. And it's not like the punishment corner that
Yes.
we were used to, but
Definitely.
that our relaxing corner where you can go there and just sit and relax. More of these climbing, and these I love these ones, and I
That's
have found that these are knitted playgrounds, and
wow.
made from this Japanese artist Toshiko Oriuchi makes large handmade fiber artworks. I'm pretty sure that she makes some, but all of these are becoming very trendy
Mhm.
and also colorful and lovely for schools. And I have checked also these urban playhouses, and they come back to use all the twigs, all the
Yes.
nature elements as well, and buildings made from willow, like the baskets in all
Mm.
of these that they used to with.
And they're mimicking the bird's nest.
Yes, yes, they are. Look at these. Uh-huh. And this is actually a tree that the kids made from paper, and then some. That's something that Finchu wouldn't allow, isn't it? Like plastic plants, but
Yeah.
this is creativity as well. So and all these green areas under the trees
Wow.
with
Kids love that. Kids love this.
yes,
The playhouse.
yes, with tree playhouses and then platforms, of course, without hurting the tree, just leaving some spaces for the tree to grow, just building around them, and that's the basic idea. And we were talking about vertical farms and gardens, and they are also trying to do that. This kind of concept at schools as well. See, okay, and this is a sensory room. And actually it what it does, and I'm thinking that it's just um trying to get our senses, isn't it, just to
Well,
develop senses.
on this subject, I wanted to bring something up, and I'm aware of it now, but I don't know how far we can go with that. Is the 3D glasses that bringing the kids into a different, uh, you know, place.
Dimension.
Virtual.
Yeah, artificial
Yes.
intelligence glasses. Uh, I don't know where are we gonna end up after 2 3 years of that. It
But
really it bring a big question mark for me because
uh-huh.
some of the kids, actually my son, he's 30 years old, so he took a present to my nephew, and my nephew is 13 years old, and so he went to Canada to visit him. So he took that game with him, and they start kicking and playing the game, and they didn't realize they were so close to each other, and then so he hit the TV and he broke the TV.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And he ended up going and buy a new TV for my brother. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he got my mom and all the family to play the game. They think it's fun, but I don't know, because I'm a hypnotherapist and I think so much about illusion and the reflection of the mind on that. The mind doesn't really know the difference.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we really need to watch out from that. Just please. I mean, I know it's technology and I know it's a new and everybody love all this kind of thing, and we really need to live in it. But we really need to stay safe and to stay clean from inside. So especially if there is any game that can bring any harm to the mind or to the society, please do not let your kids play that game, please. Especially
That's
fighting,
good. That's good to know. Okay, now this one we already saw this one, and I'm gonna begin sharing another one. Okay, I like this concept. That's what you were talking about. These are concepts that Google. This is a village from Google that where they
1,500 square footage programs. Wow.
yes, yes, for
Yes.
programming and just in programming and engineering. But what I like from these kind of spaces, is that they are open and they are kind of free, and you can see them relaxed. They are definitely open spaces. Okay.
Yes, so they are built that way so that children could communicate with one another and could actually share the information they are taking and teach one another.
Yes, and that's and same here. This is a STEAM
Yeah.
lab. Yes, and okay, this is a program that with Harvard that says let's play teaching strategies for playful learning. In that playful learning, it's developed in these kind of schools. This is a Kiev-based architect, Emil Dench, draw inspiration from the London Underground to design the interior of these language schools in Kiev. Can you see the he just got inspiration from the London Underground, and you can see this and in this one as well.
Fire.
So everything is colorful and fun as well, and also it has some messages on the floor.
Oh,
So and I love this one too. It's a school in central Finland.
nice. Wow.
Yes, and look at this concept. This is actually one of the classrooms, and this teacher, Juka Sinemakis classroom, and he lets the kids, do exercising or resting, or very free learning environment. So where they can take advantage of the every corner of the room.
Yes. Keep them healthy. Well, this
Okay,
is the
again,
healthy one. This is our
again, this
seven petal society.
yes. Okay, this is Mandala International Academy,
Wow.
Mexico, and actually,
Wow.
Noemi is the one that was visiting them, I guess, isn't it? And she actually saw all of these and all these beautiful structures, the domes. We talked about sacred geometry, universal geometry last week. Like, what can you remind us something about the dome's construction? Remember the energy that is
Yes.
flowing in there?
Everything in circles, it flows way better than
Yes.
the pyramid can give you a lot more energy than anything else. Wow, she's there. You see?
Yeah, she's there. Yes. And then look at these concepts, and then all of these are in the International Academy, Mandala International
Wow.
Academy in Mexico.
Wow.
So everything is related to universal geometry and
They
everything
got
else.
this.
Yes. And look at these concepts of spiral as well. And the pools, they have meditations in water pools. Can you imagine? I would love to be a kid and go into that school.
You see the black stones collect all the negative energy in the room, and it goes down
Oh,
in the water and it filters and it brings the positive energy back to the surrounding. So
is that part of the feng shui?
yes,
Um,
another thing. Yes,
oh, that's great. And that is that onyx?
yes.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah,
I know something about crystals as well, and I love this.
yeah.
So mandala school view, this is the same thing. And as you were talking about the feng shui, here in this part they say that the importance of where your house is located in the ground, in the environment.
Yes.
And I don't understand very well, but is it very is does it have importance if it's located in between mountains or near a lake?
And each one has different energy flow, as Sarah was talking about that. But the thing is, the house facing the sun, most likely, or let's say it's not only the house. They say that your bedroom, your bed itself, the bed alone. Sorry, it shouldn't be facing the door.
Uh-huh. Okay, so it shouldn't be facing should be facing the sun.
Your bed shouldn't be facing the main door. So if you open the door, you wouldn't see the headboard in front of you. It has to be the other way around. And then another thing they say, your bed shouldn't be, your headboard shouldn't be facing the south or the, what do you call it? It always has to be facing more or to the north or the
Yeah.
sunrise, the, the east, not the west. So between north and east, your bed has to face that. The headboard has to be on that side, and then and your feet toward the. You remember the story of the king when somebody visited him and told him that your son is dying, and he told him that's turn the bed. Do you remember that story, or you never
No,
heard?
no, no.
No. Oh, Sarah, you know that story?
I know, I don't know it.
No, I don't remember the king's name now. I thought you're gonna help me out with that.
Oh,
Okay. So the
But
king
that's
asked somebody to come and heal his son, and his son was young, 13, 14 years old. I don't know how old he was. And then he was the only son. So you remember, all days, if you have only son and 10 girls, doesn't matter what the girls happen to them. You have a son. So he was so crazy. He wanted to heal that son and get him back to life, and he was really dying. So he bring everybody to come and treat him. He couldn't do it. And then he told him, you know what? You're gonna come inside. If you're not gonna be able to treat that person, he's gonna kill you. He's gonna cut your head off your body. He said, it's okay, it's okay. I'm willing to do that. I wish that I remember the name. So he went inside and he realized the bed head it's in the wrong direction. He just told the people, hold the bed and turn the whole bed together. And he prayed and he left. He told him, just give me, I don't know how many hours, and then your son is gonna survive. And then he really survived. And he told him about the feng shui thing. He told him the flow of energy was really bad, and
uh-huh.
he was gonna die if you kept him in the same position.
Oh my
And so
God.
this is one of the story, trying to do feng shui work for everybody.
That's a good story, a good example of that.
Yeah.
Okay, look
So
at this. So every stair in this building has a message.
beautiful,
Okay,
beautiful,
in
beautiful.
different it's empathy, integration, and so many beautiful messages.
What's in the pyramid? Yes,
Yes,
and look
they
at
do
the
have.
flower of. This is the pictures of this the seed of life. You remember we learned this
Yes,
last week. The seeds of life right in the pattern of the floor, and this is gorgeous.
yes, because everything that it's over there, it kind of gives its own energy, isn't it? Like
Yes,
even if it's written or draw, even if it's in the floor, or even if it's in a picture or anything, it brings its own vibration, isn't it?
absolutely. Yes,
Okay, and these are the domes, 13 domes as well, in
this is
different
classrooms.
colors. Yes, look at this. This is so. And here I like this. They have a peace and harmony room.
Actually,
And
two
actually, what they do is they put some music with different vibrations, and we talked about some a little about the vibrations last time, but
Mm.
you know, I understand that
Um,
all of these have different connotations in our body as well, isn't it?
mm.
So
Whenever who wanted to learn more about this frequency music, just put frequency meditation music. You're gonna have a long list of different frequency for different purpose. And
yes.
then 528, it brings more balance.
Uh-huh.
And 417 bring for more balance as well. This is higher. It's more for peace and harmony.
Yes.
So the
Oh,
balance, we get some more less frequent, less frequency for uh, detoxing and cleansing the house and stuff. So it's good just to keep the music running around you, even if you're not paying attention to it, but it's doing the work because the frequency can tap into radicals and bring them to it, attract the negative energy.
yes. And there is Noemi, of course.
Yes. Yes,
And this
sir.
is a public school in Bulgaria, and
Wow.
yes, and look at this, all these concepts, and I'm thinking that Noemi, she loved it, and she says that she likes the cozy, comfortable, and friendly environment, home-like environment. I'm thinking that everyone likes to be to have a home-like environment for the school. Then color, like you mentioned, then sofa, many places to socialize and relax, like you were talking, Sarah, like the kids, they need these environments, open environments to socialize. And then punching balls, rocodromo, that's a wall to climb, that's steps, gym, good illumination, good acoustic, plants always, and when possible, pets. I don't think how it
Yeah.
would work, but have you seen any school with pets?
Sarah has her own little white kitten. It's beautiful. She become a little bit bigger.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, I don't know how it would work in schools, but I'm thinking that it's probably a good idea too. So have the kids learn how to take care of these pets. But definitely we have.
And they bring so much joy for
Yes,
them.
yes, for sure, for sure. Yes, and music, that's the frequencies that you were talking about, 432 and 524 as well, and 963 hertz. So
963 and above. This is where you connect to your guidance.
yes,
Straight,
your
straight connection.
your meditation, a straight connection. And you know the natural frequencies of a building. I'm thinking that it interests me. That's the reason why I put this here. The natural
Mm,
frequencies of vibration of buildings depends on its mass and its stiffness, on how
mm,
flexible a building is. Can you talk a
mm.
little bit more about this? Because it has some formulas here, but
Well, look at the formula. Yes.
yes, but it either heavier or more mass and more flexible.
Well,
So
anything can be like an insulator cannot bring energy into the room. That can present the negative energy because the energy is stuck. And we talked about this before when you get the flow of energy to be trapped somewhere. So
yes.
concrete is man-made, and it's one of them. So in old days, they used to cut the stone and use the real stone to do that. So we really need to go back to that and cut the real stone and build with the real stone. Or they're trying to use, let's say, the mud that we used in old houses. The clay as well has beautiful energy to it. They use and they're using hemp now. They use a lot hemp stone. Hemp stone. They create it and on the rock, and they building with it. So it can build more flexibility to the structure, and for sure glass. And we were talking about the carbon glass. The carbon glass is a new technology. I'm sure you will find more about it online. We didn't get a chance to put it over this presentation today, but the carbon glass replacing the wire, and then they use fiberglass in the middle, and this where the information transfer through the fiber optic you know, wire through the glass. So you don't need wire anymore to see it on this in the middle of the street.
Yes. So researchers found out that ancient temples have a frequency synchronized between 95 hertz and 120, and between 108 and 112 hertz. And there's a shift in the prefrontal cortex, also called fourth brain, and that is called brought for by Paul Devereaux.
Yes.
And there's a link over there. So it means that all these frequencies are affecting and are changing in this or prefrontal cortex, isn't it?
If
Like,
you wanted to skip that and see if there is one of the present slide there, I can show you and tell you exactly what you mean by that. Just go see. I don't know if we put all the slides that we use. Yeah, one of the frequency. You see, the beta is more. Yeah, the
uh-huh,
beta frequency is way more fast
uh-huh,
um, than delta and then theta and then alpha. We live in beta most of the time. Okay, so and then whenever we dream, we go to alpha daydreaming. When we're
uh-huh,
asleep, for sure we're in delta. But the frequency when we see, I mean, so many like deja vu thing, we will be in alpha during the daytime. And then we really need to be in alpha most of the time so we can always feel like we're connected. We don't want to feel the chaos that we have during the day. So that's why we can get the energy from all these places. Okay.
that's great. That's great to
So
know. Okay,
it's yeah.
and
Time's
it says
going
the
so fast. Time's
and
going so
then
fast. We got so much to talk about. Oh, you see the
yes,
bottom picture?
yes,
You know, this is right inside of the pyramid of the Khufu. Oh, yes, it's written there already. Okay,
uh-huh,
this friction. We thought this there is a top on the you know the little space there. There's no lid cover, and they thought they were somebody already came before them and they stole all the materials inside. But really, there is no material inside, and there is no lid to it, and it wasn't even a grave for the king. It wasn't. This room is. You see, it's black, and I wish there is a better picture than this one too, where they used to put some kind of material. Like you know some kind of element, I don't know, zinc or whatever it is, to bring this friction inside it and then get the energy to flow.
uh-huh. And look, these frequencies and ancestral architecture, these are,
Absolutely.
yes. So it
Absolutely. You know that, and right in there, if you stand right in the middle of this place and you sing alone, you see your echo just goes over and over and over. And they're trying to create this kind of technique now over so many different places. They didn't have the speaker before, but they used to stand in one place and everybody can hear them just by the structure of the stone.
that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And the
You
and
know,
the
in the front of the pyramid of in Mexico, you clap and you hear the clap
We can
twice.
hear it. Yeah,
oh, that's beautiful.
that's right.
You got
Yes.
that? This is the echo.
And look at this. All of these also are built with the proportions of the Fibonacci um,
Yes,
spiral,
definitely.
isn't it?
Yes.
That's interesting.
I
Okay,
think
good.
we're running out of time.
Yes. Okay, so these are ancient structures, and this is a labyrinth and
I
greenhouse.
love the labyrinth. I love the
Yes.
labyrinth so much. Yes, it can bring you back into your own center.
It it has something to see with the center as well.
Yes,
Labyrinth.
yes.
Okay. So greenhouses, hydroponic agriculture, and pre-Hispanic solar observatory, and this is a Temazcal where they. I'm thinking that it has some vapor or something for cleansing your body as well.
Hmm.
These kinds of building. Okay, and then this is a stone.
Hi,
Remember?
Sam. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the what we saw last time, but I wanted to remind us that all the frequencies, they just have an impact in our body. Yes, and these are these all of these are videos in which you can just go there and check how the frequencies change your water inside our body, as well as
Exactly.
yes, as all the experiments that have been done with water and how frequencies affect it. So again, if you want to find, would you like to read this one? That I love it. Always beautiful. So
If
we
you
can.
want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That's by
Yes.
Nikola Tesla.
By
Yes.
Nikola
Yes.
Tesla.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And love. And I couldn't stop reading this one. Could you read this, Kosar?
Yeah, I bow down to the architect of the architect. I bow down to nature. I bow down to harmony and beauty. I bow down to the endless, multi-dimension Fibonacci. I bow down to the diving breath number pi. Yes. I bow down to you, essence of all my love, infinity, and eternity. Wow, this is really really beautiful. Um,
Beautiful.
Poems, yes. And we bow
Yeah.
down to all this great work for the great people
Yeah.
who were searching for Sarah, for you, for all the people who work on this episode today.
Yes.
Wishing you a grateful week until we meet next week again.
Yes.
uh,
And thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for being
much.
here. Thank
I
you.
don't
Thank
know if
you.
you wanted to show the video at the end, but I can say goodbye to you from now. And the
And
video is gonna just gonna summarize the information that we already talked about in a beautiful and a very nice, beautiful way.
okay, perfect. And then Sarah, I appreciate you being here, and I thank Cecilia, and I thank everyone in the team that made this
Yes.
possible. Ceci, let me put Ceci some a little bit here. Hey,
Julia,
Ceci,
yes.
good
Hi.
morning.
We
Thank you
love
for
you
being
so much.
here.
Thank you for all your
She was
great work as
helping in the
well.
backstage, and then we are a big team of Pedagogy 3000, Education 3000, and we are going to be here next time also for the 13 Pillar Society next week. We invite all of
Number
you,
10.
and thank you
Oh,
for
the
being
pillar number
here.
10. Yes. Stay
Thank
tuned
you.
and please stay tuned. Ask us for any other information that you love to know, to learn about this project. Thank you for Sarah. I know, Sarah, I didn't give you a chance to say much, but I love your present. Thank you so much for being with us and to make this project as well the best project ever for my life and for everyone. I love you guys.
Thank you. And we're going to be sharing this video.
Hmm. All right. Bye bye.
Thirty years ago, I traveled the world and I was searching for my future path. My journey took me to Asia, where I saw the power of buildings that reflected spiritual and cultural beliefs, to Central America, where Mayan temples represent the relationship between us and the universe, and to Australia, where my own relationship with all other living systems was cemented. Something shifted within me during this experience. I got to live and breathe the earth, notice the slightest form of life, watch in awe as 100 kangaroos bounded across a plain, and see a sky full of so many stars. I thought I had entered a new universe. It was the definition of feeling alive. And then real life set in. I had to join the rest of society and spend most of my time inside. It made me wonder, why have we become inside creatures? Why have we passively accepted buildings that disconnect us from nature? I decided to become an architect, and here was my mission: to connect people and nature in the habitats that we create for ourselves, buildings. My vision is simple. What if, when every building is created, it tells a story of that place? It tells a story of the thousands of species that have inhabited that place for the past 10,000 or more years. Currently, we just bring in the bulldozers and we don't even stop to be curious. We have become inside creatures with our opportunities to be immersed in nature reserved for our weekends or our vacations. So, what if this were different? What if we're spending the 90% of our time inside? We're also connected to nature. What if the walls between inside and outside were broken down? I know intuitively that I feel more alive and more vibrant when I'm connected to the changing seasons and I can feel the change in weather on my skin. Research backs up my intuition. A simple window in a hospital room has been shown to reduce both patient stays and the amount of pain medication those patients receive. Test scores increased by 25% in classrooms that have daylight. None of this is surprising, let's face it. Not many of us like spending our days in dark or windowless rooms. And yet 45% of global office workers have no daylight. I spend too much of my time in convention centers with no windows, and when I emerge hours later to discover it is raining when it was sunny when I entered, I feel cheated and a sense of disorientation sets in. A study in the city of Portland showed that violent crimes in neighborhoods decrease significantly as tree size and density increases. Another study showed that people who live adjacent to a forest have healthier amygdalas, a region of the brain that processes memories and emotions. With an increasingly urbanized world, not many of us can live next to a forest. So why don't we bring nature inside? Why don't we bring
forests, wetlands, and streams back into our cities and rewild our neighborhoods? It's a simple concept, and for thousands of years it was the only way we knew how to build. Architecture was infused with ponds, atria, and gardens, brought animal and plant motifs, and brought the outside in by keeping plants and animals close. Indigenous architecture all across the world has shown incredible creativity at adapting those buildings to that climate, using evaporative cooling or wind tunnels in desert climates, for example. Buildings used to be a representation of who we are and the specific place they're built in. But once electricity was incorporated into our buildings, we no longer needed the warmth of the sun or the cooling breezes to stay comfortable. Windows started to seal up, buildings became wider, and the spaces in the middle darker and more removed from outside. Together with the global economy came a sense of placelessness. Buildings are a commodity rather than an expression of who we are or the place they're built in. As well as our reliance on technology, we are glued to the nearest power outlet and determined not to let a speck of sunlight get on our screens, further disconnecting us from nature. It is great to see the trend of bringing in plants and green walls into our buildings. But to really connect people and nature, we're going to need a lot more than this. We're going to need a concept called biophilic design, which translates literally to love of life. The potential of biophilic design is to do more than just bring us fresh air, daylight, and views in buildings. Renowned biologist E.O. Wilson has a theory that our brains have been mapped to think like a hunter-gatherer species for thousands of years. And this plays out both in nature and in our built environment. For example, prospect and refuge. We like to have a sense of what's coming towards us, prospect. But at the same time, we like to feel safe. You can see this playing out in a busy restaurant You do not have a reservation, and the only tables available will be in the middle, right? The booths around the edge or on the outside where you can feel safe but see what's coming towards you will all be taken first. Someday, watch where people hang out in pools of sunshine, on edges and shorelines, or with each other. We can't escape our instinctive sense of safety and security. There are many other intuitive patterns of behavior that happen when we're immersed in nature that we can bring into our buildings. The sense of exhilaration we feel at the edge of a cliff, fear and awe. The sense of excitement we feel when we discover something new, exploration and discovery. As well, the variation in light and pattern and space and texture that fills us with this sense of peace and tranquility when we're immersed in nature can all be brought into our buildings. Biophilic design is being used to transform our workplaces from monotonous beige cubicle farms to spaces that have varying acoustics, daylight, and interaction opportunities. It's also being used to transform our schools and hospitals, where it has been the norm to keep the young and the sick in sterile and dark environments. When kids are asked to draw their absolute favorite space, 96% of them will draw a space in nature. It is great that our kids are still connected to nature, but why do we not bring this connection inside? Would they have a different answer if they were kids in this classroom at the Birchie School in Seattle, where they can watch the rain flowing through their classroom and interact with the changing seasons? Biophilic design is being used all around the world. At this hospital in Singapore, you compare your medical treatment with the sights and sounds of a tropical forest. The air that passes over your hospital bed carries the sound of birds. We are so busy creating sterile environments in our hospitals that we have shut out the power of nature to heal. For the Tuhoi Maori in New Zealand, the money they fought for as a settlement from the New Zealand government to recognize that their land was taken from them without their agreement was best spent first to build a cultural center, a place that could create a vision of the future that was not saddled with the past. The building is created from wood harvested from the Tuhoi lands and mud bricks created on site as part of a job training program. This building represents the relationship the Tuhoi people have with their land, with each other, and with all other living systems. Many global companies are starting to incorporate biophilic design. They've picked up on studies such as the one from the University of Michigan that show that there is a 20% increase in productivity after people spend 1 hour in nature. That's just 1 hour. Amazon sees the value. Their spheres at the new headquarters in Seattle are not merely a statement. They're specifically there so their employees can be immersed in nature and return to their desks refreshed and more productive. Google is implementing biophilic design guidelines, and Etsy has incorporated biophilic design into their headquarters in Brooklyn, New York. The only thing stopping us from living and working in biophilic buildings is us. We are not making it a priority. It is not necessarily more expensive to create biophilic buildings. It is often cheaper. If we can once again rely on the warmth of the sun or the cooling breezes to stay comfortable, we'll reduce our reliance on electricity and fossil fuels, contributing positively towards the reversal of global climate change. If we use materials from our region, we'll reduce the carbon impact of transporting them from all around the world. So what it comes down to is this. We are not only facing a choice between two different approaches to architecture. We're facing a choice between two starkly different views of human nature. Are we separate from nature, or are we part of nature? If we assume that we are separate from nature, then we get buildings that look like this. Look familiar? They're everywhere. As Winston Churchill once said, first we shape our buildings, and then our buildings shape us. And it's worth spending time in buildings like this forces us to become shadows of ourselves. And that's not only detrimental to our happiness, it's detrimental to our health. But there is another view of human nature, and one that says that we are intuitively and instinctively connected to the world with which we have evolved. If we assume this to be true, then we get buildings that look more like this. These are buildings where the inspiration for the whole form has been generated as an inspiration from nature, in this case, a termite mound. These are buildings where the whole space is created just by the shadows moving through it during the day. These are spaces where we can feel the textures changing under our feet, and we can hear the sound of the wind, where we can see the clouds moving across the sky and smell the rain, where we can interact with each other, and where the boundaries between inside and outside are broken down. Before we lose our connection to the world with which we have evolved and become accustomed to the barren tombs of our buildings, it is my hope that biophilic design can bring us more wildness, biodiversity, and connection to each other while we are inside. Biophilic design is not just an approach to architecture that is good for the planet. It's an approach that allows us to celebrate all that is good about being alive, and in doing so, become a better, happier, and healthier version of ourselves. Thank you.